So, good evening to everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice. So, yeah, welcome to participant for this event, which we have titled is that ABC of Finance for the Startup. It's really interesting for me to welcome you with so many bouquets. You can take which one you like. But at the same time, I also wish that you are safe and taking care in this pandemic. This particular event, which is planned with resource person Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni, is something unique in the sense there are two things which I would like to just tell you. Few days back, I should say a few months back, I attended one course which is run by MSME, Firozabad unit, how to start your own startup, which was the course weekend for weekend 2 days, and it was really an eye opener for me because I'm working in this institute VNIT for the last 27 years, and mainly interested in research in the CAD-CAM area and all that. But now, in the present scenario, what we have been told that the student should be rather guided to see that whatever the research they perform, it should be deployed. That means the research should be useful to the people in the society. And that's why, this so-called startup based on the research, that is what we are working on. During 1st March to 5th March, we have also conducted an online symposium for 5 days, which was titled as Engineer Your Research for Startup, and which received a very good response from people from all over India. There in the title, I have used the engineer as the verb and not as a noun. So there we have discussed with many startup owners, those who are actually started their company based on the research, whatever they have carried out during this their MTech or the PhD level. And then I realized after that, when I attended the course run by Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni under MSME platform, that finance is very important. And the way Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni has delivered that content in that course, it was simply amazing. And then I thought that yes, I should get connected with such a resource person, and not only me, but the students community, those who are actually interested in deploying their research for the benefit of the people in the society, they should also get connected with the such resource persons. And that's why I planned this interaction, maybe first baby step, you can say, wherein it will be more of an interaction, no more of a lecturing and like that. And, I have already sent the email to you that we may require to extend our time also, say from 8:30 onward. So, because see, ultimately, uh, we should get satisfied with the interaction. And then, as I already told you, that this is the baby step, and hopefully we can plan a nice course for the whole week or maybe for 5 days, wherein we can learn more and more about the finance. Now, if you look at the title, ABC of the finance, so many times many participants in first go, they just realize that ABC means it's a fundamental, something very preliminary thing about the finance. But if you happen to go through the brochure in detail, I have specifically mentioned like what this ABC stands for. This A, B, and C, they are the stages in the development of the product, which are being represented by the technology readiness level TRL. And, at every stage, you need to think about the finance. And that is how that ABC of the finance title I have just framed for this particular online interaction. So, let us start with opening remark from my side, and then we will then invite Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni. I will introduce all the participant, Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni also. But let me tell you something from my side that how this startup and then finance and all this thing is more important for all the people, those who are studying in higher education institutes. So let me show you this interesting slide. I just divided the knowledge into the two ends. One is the low end and the another one is the high end. Low end doesn't mean that that particular knowledge is low in value, and high end doesn't mean that it is knowledge which is having a lot of value, high value or like that. But just to make it more simple, what I have mentioned there in the slide, the low end talks about the graduation. That means uh, till the graduation, whatever the knowledge you get, I have just uh, written it under the low end. And high end talks about the post graduation or the PhD. And that's why I mention it in the bracket, the research. That means additional knowledge than the graduation, and you are mostly involved in the research in that particular field. So this is what, in general, the knowledge is divided. So let's see what happens if we focus on the low end and then the high end. That's what I wish to rather show you. When you focus only on the low end knowledge, that means only graduation. So as you can see here, the more and more graduates will come out from the institutes. And these graduates, those who are coming out of the institute, they will be rather looking at the traditional industry, conventional factories for the job. And all of them actually require the job in such factories or in these traditional industries or factories. You know, this is really very problematic because most of these traditional industries or the factories, they are manufacturing the product in mass. So that's what we talk about, a mass manufacturing unit. Now, there, with the advent of the technology and all that, see the changes that is happening. That with more and more automation that is coming into the field. And nowadays, even we talk about the artificial intelligence and machine learning. So there, the number of jobs which are already available, say maybe 100, if I take any number, then these 100 jobs or 100 people are already working in that factory or in that particular factory. It is rather difficult for the traditional industry to rather keep that jobs, 100 jobs intact because of the heavy automation and because of the more and more, you know, the smart so-called technology that is coming up. So they are finding it difficult. What we demand more and more jobs because the more and more graduates are coming. And this is what generally all of us are aware, that the supply and demand, this particular equation in case of the job is very disturbing. And I think the last figure which I'm just showing it to you here actually shows that there are few jobs and many takers and all that. So ultimately what happens, like there are more and more graduates coming up. Jobs available are not more in number. And finally, this will this is leading to some chaos in the whole technical sector. So what is the need? The need is to focus on high-end knowledge or the research. That means you have to see that more and more focus should be on the research side. I don't mean to say that low-end knowledge, we don't want the more and more graduates and all that. It is always better that if you have the more graduates coming out, that is always better because in the society you have the more educated people. But the manufacturing industry is now becoming customer centric. And for that, when you say customer centric, then it is the innovation and the comfort that plays the dominant. So innovation, which will only possible through the research, and comfort when you actually focus on the customer. So what is the need of an hour? If you look at that, the innovative and tailor-made product is the need of an hour. Remember here, when you are talking about the tailor-made product, innovative product and all that, then in that scenario, these particular traditional industries are finding it difficult to meet that need. And ultimately, we need not have to rather focus on such industries because the job creation will not be matching with the demand of the job because we are having more and more graduates coming out. But then what is the solution? The solution is the startup. Now remember here, when I say the solution is the startup, that means the small units. That's what I'm talking about. Not a big unit just like the way I just shown to you. You know, if you rather look at an interesting so-called interview of Nandan Nilekani that has appeared in the Economic Times in August 2020. He has asked one question related to the future of India, which I have underlined it on that particular figure, picture you can see. And I'm just writing it down for you. Now here it is mentioned, rather the question that is asked to him, you think the future for India will be where more small players also compete? Now, his answer is, I am of the firm belief that it is not about few companies creating millions of jobs, but millions of companies creating a few jobs each. That is what I see as the future. A wonderful statement, a very good answer. I wish that you should read these sentences which are shown in the red color, that millions of companies creating few jobs. That's what exactly we are supposed to look at. That means, just like I told you, the startup is the solution. That means we need more and more startups that comes out, and they will be creating few jobs. So ultimately, the job creation will be sufficiently large, and ultimately the job seekers will get the job. Though we always say that be the job creator and not a job seeker, but job seekers will be always there. But if you are the job creator, then the problem of the job seekers will solve. That's what exactly we always look at when we see the startup. So I personally feel that the startup is the only solution to to overcome this particular problem. Remember here, again, I would like to repeat it because now I am in the education sector for the last so many years. Many people, they always say that, oh, there are, why so many engineers are required and unnecessarily engineers are getting produced, are rather coming out, and the graduates are coming out and all that. I look at it as a very good picture, as a very good sign. In a society, if you can see more and more educated people, that's a good sign. Why you don't want more engineers in the society? Why you don't want more graduates in this industry? See, ultimately, you have to see that educated society always will give the happiness. So ultimately, when we say the job creator, then we will be rather solving the problem of job seeker. That's what we like to say. Now, as soon as we now look at the startup, that means now we are telling the students to start your own unit and all that. So, there are challenges. Yes, true. There are obstacles. Yes, that is true. But remember here, one of the things which all of you will agree that there is an obstacle, and that obstacle is about the finance, about the rupees. That's what I showed you. So ultimately, whenever somebody thinks about a startup, the very first thing that comes into his mind that, oh, where is the finance? How exactly I can arrange the finance? And ultimately, how the things I can enter into this particular domain. Now, I would like to look at this particular issue from a very different angle. I'm showing you here a simple picture of an Indian family, and this Indian family is discussing about the future of the child. You know what? 99% families, they will be always rather advising their children and all that you should be a general manager of this company, You should be a big officer here in that particular department and all that. And this is what exactly is the problem which we are creating. I don't think in any Indian family, though there are exceptional cases, no doubt about it, that they should say, why don't you think of starting your own company? For that, you have to study hard, just like as I shown to you, the research something, innovate something, and think of starting your own company. So this thing is not happening in the families. That is one of the reasons. No doubt, I just told you one of the hurdle is the finance, but this is also the another way by which I'm looking at. Now, the Indian startup ecosystem, this is not is firmly getting developed. That means everywhere the people should think about, should I start my own company because I have some innovative ideas in my mind and all that. So if you start thinking in this direction, hopefully, if the ecosystem is developed, the problem which we feel that is the problem when I start a company, that is possible to overcome. An interesting example all of us are aware of is the Silicon Valley. They say that if you stay in Silicon Valley for 10-15 days, you yourself start thinking, oh, why not to start our own company? Maybe here, there, or anywhere in the world. So, the ecosystem is getting developed there, which is forcing you to think it in that particular direction. Now, I talked about the ecosystem and all that. So this girl is simply asking, what is an ecosystem in simple words? So if I need to explain this in simple word, I should say that the charity begins at home, but it should not end there, that everybody knows about it. Let me show you an interesting picture here, that at educational institutes, what is the problem? That there are two people, students, I'm just showing Tej and Tipu, and the teacher is pointing the fingers towards Tej, saying that you follow the Tej. Why? Because it is mentioned that the Tipu wished to join the company, offering him annual salary of rupees suppose 12 lakhs. And Tej wished to start company based on his research. So how many faculty members or how many people in the education institute, they rather show the example of Tej, saying that you should follow Tej. I have seen in many education institute that the outstanding alumni and all that, so they only focus on the alumni, those who are having serving in a very big company in a good position, this and that and all that. Most of them are serving in the company. But if you can say that outstanding alumni is the one who has started the company based on whatever the knowledge he has gained in our education institute, I think you are creating an ecosystem. So this is what is just once these two students come out of the education institute, maybe after some years, what happens at home? I'm just showing the father now. The teacher is father now here, just the same one. And now, after some years, Tipu's salary has increased from 12 lakhs to 15 lakhs. But now Tej is the CEO of the startup who employed 5 people. And father should say, follow Tej. Tej is follow the footsteps of the Tej. If we can create a system at home, I think you are rightly talking about the ecosystem or the startup. And that's what I told you, that if at all this is to be explained in a simple word, I hope this actually clears most of the doubts. At VNIT, we are thinking of creating such ecosystem. So you can see the CAD-CAM center, and at the top of it, some construction is going on. And that's the so-called our proposed BETIC-VNIT. That is what we call as BETIC, stands for the Biomedical Engineering Technology Incubation Center. And this is the place where we will be talking about a virtual incubation. We are also proposing in this space the postdoc position to fresh PhD awardee to write proposal for startup based on the PhD. And we will be also looking at it as a facilitator for the patent awardee to write the proposal for startup based on the patent granted or maybe the patent which has been filed. So this is what we are presently looking at. By end of the year, our BETIC-VNIT will be ready. And there we wish to rather create a system wherein the students will be asked to think about the startup as the so-called deliverable of their PhD or the MTech or the research output. So they always say that the startup success only with the mentor. So if you don't have the mentor, then it is difficult. And I have already mentioned to you, the finance is one of the main hurdle that we have to overcome. And we are lucky enough to have Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni, regional head ICSE Maharashtra and Goa with us. So we welcome Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni. Welcome, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Kanchan, sir? Hello? Kanchan, sir,
Thank you
can
so
you hear
much.
me?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sir. I'm just offering you the sapling of the tree, which is called as night jasmine in English.
Yeah,
And
acha.
in Marathi, they call it as a parijatak.
Yeah.
So, so this particular sampling, I'm just offering you as a um, through
Thank you.
e-mode, but whenever you will come to Nagpur, this
Sure.
sampling will be always with me.
Yes.
We wish that you should use this plant and you'll find that a small flower will come. That's a
Sure, sir.
wonderful,
Thank you.
very, it has a very wonderful aroma.
Yes,
And
sir.
it is liked by the goddess Lakshmi. And when we talk about the finance, I think we always take the blessing from the goddess Lakshmi. So, so I'm just wish to have the blessings from the goddess Lakshmi, so
Thank
that
you.
we will be getting more and more
Simply
knowledge
here.
about the finance. So thank you very much, sir, for for coming here as a resource person.
My pleasure.
Uh, Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni is a wonderful personality. I already told you that when I attended his 2 days workshop, it was amazing in the sense the time even was 5:30 p.m. to 8:30. The first day it has exceeded up to 9:30 p.m. And the second day it extended, I don't know, up to 11:30 p.m. And all of us, those who were attending, everybody was patiently hearing Kanchan sir. And he was also so enthusiastic, continuously talking for 4 5 hours. I have not seen such a vibrancy in any speaker, sir, in my teaching career. A wonderful
Thank you.
personality. Kanchan critically, he is having more than 30 years of rich experience in the commercial banking sector, international trade. He is an authority in creating a huge value relationship of retail and corporate customers with bank within the country and abroad. I am happy to tell the participant that he is honored as the best international banker in Europe among the all banks for the year 2006. A wonderful achievement, sir. He has bagged 5 Excellence Award. He has been also awarded as a star performer in quality service assessment among the 16 performance pan India. And he is a guest and visiting faculty at various institutes like NIBM, MITCON, Cummins College of Management, and is active member of Rotary International for the last 4 years, Gandhi Bhavan Club. So, so much things to tell about the content organizer, and we are
Thank you.
really lucky to have you with us. So, sir, should we start our interaction now? Is it okay?
Sure, sir, absolutely.
Yeah. Sir. So, let me now start interacting with Mr. Kanjan Kulkarni, and with his interaction, we'll be definitely getting our knowledge and reach. So I'm just showing you here uh, uh, photos or the snaps that we have taken during one of the medical devices innovative conclave in 2016. This was arranged along with IIT Bombay, and you can see the students working with their technical know-how, and we have given them some problems to solve and devise something within 5 days and all that. Even you can see the IIT professors like Professor B. Ravi and Professor Bapat discussing with the student. Even our director is also discussing with the students and all that. We uh, encourage the students and researchers to develop the innovative product which can be patented as a new product. Students find it more interesting up to the design stage of the product, but find it difficult for marketing it as they do not have any knowledge of customer taste sale of the product. So they go up to the patenting with from the designer perspective. It is expected that they should follow the TRL level from 1 to 9. If they wish to start their company, then they require funding at the 3 stages, which I have already shown in our brochure. And that's what I have mentioned, like ABC: A for act, B before, and then C is the conquer. So the TRL 1 to 4. So when I look at TRL 1, that is act, TRL 1 to 4, that's the first stage. The funding for the stage A can be tapped from various government funding agencies. One of the funding agencies very well known to us is Bharat Big Funding, and we are lucky to have two of our students to get this funding. But if the funding through any agency for stage A is not possible, then what are the various other channels for funding? I just mentioned bank loan in the bracket. So, what is your opinion, sir?
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Kuthe, sir. And my great pleasure to associate with you. Thank you, my great. And what I appreciate more, not only about your approach, the way you have been approachable, but following our training program, wherein you have been a very active participant. You didn't limit to the training itself. Okay, you thought it through. You thought that okay, why not to try to spread this knowledge further, not only for you but for your students, all the participants to the training. You're all scholars, research scholars, wherein you have been a great mentor also. So really, for the first time, possibly, sir, I could see the way uh, uh, somewhere the training starts, or maybe input are given in what best way this could be converted to some sort of output form. As you have been engineers, you know this very well. So it's really appreciable. And friends, my most heartfelt compliments to Dr. Kuthe, sir. Okay, and I suppose he could be a role model the way he has been already, the way he has mentored so many students, so many research scholars, and it is going on also. So the journey of entrepreneurship, the way you have started, sir, it will definitely show a different colors in the future, I must say. Okay, so my
Thank you,
special
sir. Thank you,
compliments to
sir.
you. And
Thank you, sir.
and really in a very I would say the way you have presented, sir, that it has put before all the participants and all those aspirants into this industry, I would say industry, a quite different as a perspective as such. Okay, it's not only limited to maybe in some engineering field or maybe biotechnology field, but anywhere where we have something in mind. Always there is something in mind. Okay, I want to do this, sir. I have something.
Yeah.
I have this idea, some concept as such. Okay, which have been hovering in our minds. Maybe what possible that many of us we carry this some vision, some dream. Okay, since childhood also. So we come
Yes,
of
sir.
age,
Yes.
and still we have that concept in our mind. But people were finding it difficult. So for years together, how to give that shape, how to make it into something called a tangible, how to get it converted to something to get it passed, okay, provide it to the end users. Okay, people were really finding the directions it was missing as such. When I say direction, it was mix of a lot of things. Okay, so there was no proper direction the way now which have come to a stage. Secondly, funding, as you have very rightly said, it was a big issue to be addressed also. So even though we have some good idea, it is workable idea, employable idea, as well as commercial idea also, but fund was a better was a very serious issue as well. I agree. For that matter, as being a banker, for being into this field for so many years, somewhere that I carry that blame on me also as a banker as well. But thankfully, you can see and you can witness here the way Dr. Kuthe sir has taken this stride in a big way, the way he's trying to transform his ideas, research into somewhere called as incubation. But I would say, let us not limit our understanding only incubation. The way we take it ahead and put into a more tangible commercial product as such, it doesn't remain only at incubation as such. Okay, even though you
Yeah.
have very scientifically you put in various stages A, B, C as such. Okay, but I
Yes,
feel
sir.
very honestly feel, sir, the way it will go further. Okay, faster. It won't remain as an incubator as such. So I would say in some other words, when we go up to 7, 8, 9 stage, it could be powerhouse of knowledge. I would say
Yes.
it would become
Yes.
power of knowledge, not
Yes,
limited
sir.
to incubation as such. Okay, so that's what I honestly wanted to put before you. Coming to your question, it's very rightly said, and it is very right in under very right perspective, I suppose, and most appropriate for many of us. That question could be hovering in your mind. So I must admit also that at a stage where we are at a very, you can say, incubation stage, seeding stage as such. Okay, very appropriate stage, but that is a stage where we try to possibly try to conceptualize the idea, or we try to put into a definition idea, and then we take it ahead. Once we define, once our object is very clear and the direction gets clear, that is the point where we really need something called as, you can say, vitamin M. Vitamin M,
Yeah.
if this is not there, we cannot go ahead. And possibly, sir, and it's fact also, many of us, okay, many of us, we are very intelligent, and we have very adequate clarity to where to go, what direction we to move. But yes, it may become obstacle as such. So what to do? Where, how much fund I can deploy here, and which is a very critical stage, I suppose, because like we have been handling so many such a projects. But people, scholars, or maybe upcoming entrepreneurs, somewhere they stumble here. Whatever, so they try to limit their function to the extent of whatever funds they have. That should not be a
Yeah.
case. So whatever, you can say, required fund, modest amount of funds which are required has to be applied.
Yeah.
Has to be applied that stage only. So coming to the point, as you rightly pointed out, if we try to explore uh, our idea, or to take it ahead for getting the funds from all typical structure like banks. Okay, so
Yeah.
we know banks. So I need funds, I need some loan, I need some assistance. So the normal
Yes.
route, generic route could be in banks. But I must I
Yes.
must put it before you, friends, at a stage where we are, as you sir, as Abhay sir has said, that we are at a very I can say, basic stage, very initial stage of funding, where you are confident, or your team or your mentor, they are confident, but that may not be a scale of understanding at bank level. I must admit.
Okay.
So bank
Yes. Yes.
may find it difficult to fund. At least they may have reservation also. Even though,
Okay.
let me put you on before perspective, that if I
Yeah.
look at the banking as such, industry as such, it has come up way now. It has really changed for the last almost 8 to 10 years. Whatever impression we
Yes.
used to have, okay, whatever experience also we had earlier, I think that is rapidly changing now. Rapidly changing.
Yeah.
So even though bank happens to be a primary source of getting these funds, but
Yeah.
still I must admit that at this stage, uh, uh, going to with this document, your concept idea, to take it to further scale, further stage, may be
Yeah.
difficult to get at least adequate fund. Bank will say, okay, we have everything okay, I respect you, okay, you are scholar, you are doing it very hard, you are putting all
Yeah.
your blood and what everything on stay, you can say, everything into this. But bank may have still reservation at this stage also. Okay, even though I am
Yes.
on work, on one way I'm
Yeah.
saying that we are come of age, we are
Yeah.
gradually into maturity stage, but still at this stage, for even for all this startup enterprise at this stage, it would be difficult. That's why they want to do
Yes.
what to do if we are losing the direction from a primary source, or you can say generic source, what to do. But
Yeah.
thankfully, friends, thankfully, there are plethora of other institutions, okay, other investors, they have come into age, then they have come into this stage. So all those my friends participate into this particular program, they should not lose heart. Okay, so there are certain alternatives, there are certain workable alternatives at this stage which are available. So step by step, let's see, as your sir has rightly pointed out at seed stage, if not banks, there could be some other options. I would like to put it some option before you. Um, Many of you must be aware, friends. You are aware about the Startup India scheme, definitely. The way which has been a brainchild of our honorable Prime Minister, and not only a brainchild, an idea. He's determined, and he's very specific to take it forward also. And all of us, all under the guidance of people like Dr. Kuthe sir, okay, we are definitely taking that tide ahead. But at this stage, I must mention that there is a scheme under a Startup India scheme, or maybe you can say, um, to take it to a further scale, Government of India have recently announced a scheme. Okay, I think many of you may be aware, but yes, well, let's take advantage of this forum to let you know. The scheme is called a Startup India Seed Money Scheme or Seed Funding Scheme, which is primarily aimed to provide such a funds. So government is also aware that all such you can say most potential people, you can say scholars like you may find it difficult. That's why government has brought in this specific scheme, very recent scheme, and which I would say, I feel that this has tried to address the specific needs at this stage. Just to give a quite few features of the scheme, which of course I would give a very in brief, but afterwards anything you are free to ask. And I must give my special thanks to sir that we are going to put this in a most interactive way. So sir has, I harassed him for 2 days through my training purpose, so I don't want to take it further here. So, okay, so we will definitely discuss more through interactive session. So just to brief about this product, friends, this Startup India seed funding scheme has been very recently announced by Government of India, and I think appropriate that would be addressed to all those people, all the participants, or you can say entrepreneurs, to get the funding at this stage. So it functions at two stages. At very initial stage, maybe we may require some funds for maybe you can say development of prototype, some testing, maybe lab testing, other testing procedures, whatever we need to do. Okay, so amount of up to 20 lakhs, 20 20 lakhs have been reserved for individual entrepreneur, okay, or maybe incubating to avail this fund. That's one. As and when you go ahead with this stage, so you are through with the trials, and your first, you can say first result as such, government would be willing to release further dose of 50 lakhs, 50. Okay, so in all, as of now, the design goes, government would be minimum would be investing. I would say investing. It's okay. I would not use the word spending because it's just well, but for a good cause. So with this Startup India seed funding scheme, this is the two-level funding which would be made available. Okay, any for that matter, anybody wants any details, I would be sharing with you, friends. But just to have a very brief about this, that happens to be one option. Then going to another institution, to a SIDB, many of you must be knowing, Small Industry Development Bank of India. They have two specific products. Okay, typically, I would say this comes in the form of venture capital. Okay, because it's nothing but for all of us is venture, right? We need to go to the venture and prove ourselves. That's why this there are two. I think I heard, must have discussed in the training also. There's a beautiful product of CDB, which is called as IF, India Aspiration Fund. IF. Okay, so this is, I think, peculiarly aimed to address the needs like the entrepreneurs like you, IF. So all those you can say funding which is required, maybe for virtual purpose, maybe for prototype development, then testing, whatever way we did, maybe digital marketing also, just to kick start to this. So all this you can say the investment items which are normally are not available through the conventional method, which could be funded through IF also, India Aspiration Fund also. Okay. The second, then of course there are so many. Government has come up with another aggregate fund, something which is called a FOF, Fund of Funds, wherein there is a model of parent funds and child funds. So government
Yeah,
being a
yeah,
parent fund, they have come up with a initial first dose of 10,000 crores, 10,000 CR,
yeah,
out of which
yeah.
various child funds have been created, through which with a
Mhm.
very specific intention, friends, that as and when any such a feasible project is there, feasible research which is going on, but
Yeah,
we may need some initial funding for the seeding purpose, say at seeding stage, that could be made available in the form of FOF. Very popular, it is called FOF, fund of fund asset. So to my
okay.
mind, this could be a unconventional two three sources which I come to mind at this
Yeah,
stage. I think that's good, sir.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Yes. Excuse me, Mr. Arya Meghmani Arya, please keep your yeah, mic shut.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah. Sir, very nice to hear from you the various schemes, because I was only thinking about like if this is not possible with the another funding, so bank loan is the only solution. But I think many of our participants would like to interact with you maybe later on to know more
Sure.
about the various schemes that you said talked about. Just to take it further, sir, about the bank loan,
Yeah.
maybe at the very first stage, say for this TRL 1 to 4, maybe we will try, as you rightly said, that the banking system is not to be looked at for the funding because the product is not ready, or maybe it is at a very initial stage. But say if we get some funding from the Bharat Big, or maybe as you say rightly, the Startup India and all that, but
Yes, sir.
say for simple thing, suppose I need a bank loan. So for example, to buy my scooter or the some two-wheeler or the four-wheeler, whatever it is.
Yes, sir.
So the major problem, in the bank loan is that I'm just showing you the two interesting picture here.
Yes, sir.
One is
Yes.
this the students at a rural area, and another one is the middle class family where they are actually struggling
Yes, sir.
hard to maintain that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, with such a middle class family, when the researcher come from the middle class family, bank requires a margin up to 20%. And then, he's ready. Say, I told you, like, not directly to the startup, but anything, even a small thing, whatever he would like to bear. Now, that margin is difficult for him to even raise. So, any suggestion from you in such scenario?
Uh, a very, very absolutely precise question, I would say. I must mention that. So, looking at this particular issue, they've definitely being faced. Okay, being faced, all the entrepreneurs, all the to be entrepreneurs at this stage. So bank will say, okay, fine, let us have an agreement. I'm ready to give you, if not 80%, but yes, 75%, 75 rupees. Yes, I'm ready to give. Okay, I'm convinced about your project. Okay, your perception also, but
Yeah.
provided into bracket that you should also bring some capital from you. Okay, that
Yes,
could be
yes,
possible
yes.
also. But if you look at the profile of the of this researcher, or you can say entrepreneur, uh, if you go to the real depth of this particular profile,
Yeah.
at such a stage, he's poised to go ahead with his growth vision, or what he would like to do. Whether on an average researcher or average entrepreneur, whether he will have such a you can say wealth with him. I'm saying wealth, or his own
Yeah.
money as such. Okay, which
Yes,
is
yes,
quite which
yes.
is quite you can say uncommon that he will have funds.
Yes, yes,
Uncommon that
yes,
he will have
yes.
funds as such. So this has become business then. Okay, so up thoda paise leke aao. Okay, I'll put some money, they will give.
Yeah,
This
yeah, yeah,
this has this has been a conventional model with any bank which is going on as such. And
yeah,
I must mention, I must appraise all of you friends that it has not changed much even today also, because it's not that the banks are not prepared, banks are not are not convinced about your venture as such, but at the same time there is an additional, you can say, a fear factor, which is called as
yeah,
something called a risk factors. Okay, suppose, okay, I'm very much willing, I know this boy is very, very intelligent, I know this, but apart from his capability to take it further, if something goes wrong, something goes off track, okay,
yes,
what should I
yes,
do?
yes.
That would come on my head as such. So in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
case, okay, I'm willing to give you funding. How to
yeah,
minimize, how to curtail my risk as such. So this is nothing
yeah.
but effort to minimize or manage my risk as such. Instead of losing all my 100 rupees, okay, if I lose 75 rupees, that's relatively okay. That's what could be a thinking as such. But let
Yeah.
me tell you, friends, as per recent guidelines, okay, and I think that could be very much beneficial to many of you. As per the specific guidelines from the government of India, RBI also, Reserve Bank of India, up to total exposure of 1 crore, 100
Yeah.
lakhs. Okay. So they, of course, there are guidelines, and specifically all of you, I am assuming that you could be falling under the criteria of MSME. Either your project could be fitting into micro
Yes.
enterprise,
Yes.
somewhere small enterprise, and rarely into medium enterprise. I would say a very small portion could fall into a medium enterprise. So typically looking
Yes.
at your extent, or you can say your size of your enterprise could be falling between micro enterprise or small enterprise. So typically looking under the broad umbrella of MSME, friends, there are very clear guidelines from Government of India that up to a exposure, I'm saying exposure, total exposure, what bank will be investing in you in the form of some loan,
Yeah.
some financial assistance. Banks are not supposed to take any own capital or promoters contribution, okay, up to the exposure of 1 crore.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
so these are
Nice.
they
Very
are
good.
recent guidelines. I suppose
Oh, nice.
this is in the right spirit of the startup India, as well as the incubation project where we are talking about that.
Yeah.
Those who are really genuine, and you can say a much you can say a deserving case, okay, to put his
Yes.
project
Yes.
as such, that should not be stalled somewhere. That should not
Yeah.
be stopped somewhere only for something called a limitation of his own capital asset.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
suppose
Yes.
from that spirit in view, um, government has Reserve Bank of India has very clearly issued to all banks, and these guidelines are equally equitably applicable to all banks, that you can go ahead, venture, and venture into this particular area and go ahead, expose yourself, give maybe in the form of loan, but without insisting any margin. We call it a margin or promoters
Yes.
contribution.
Yes.
Okay, you can
Yeah.
fund
Yeah.
up to 100 lakhs. But again,
Oh,
a very small disclaimer from my end, friends.
yeah.
This is from my spirit, my experience, I'm putting before you. But you need to find out whether all the banks are really working to that same spirit. That
Yeah,
needs to be
yeah,
worked out
yeah.
as such. Okay,
I
so,
think that's a
so I,
really,
I
really,
suppose
very, very nice information, sir. Actually,
yeah,
sometimes feel that suppose a researcher, he is very sharp and intelligent to get the grant from the some funding agency, and if he wants the bank loan for a suppose to get a vehicle or something like that, because no
absolutely.
grant is going to give them the loan, the grant for the vehicle and all that. So he will
Okay.
approach the bank, and then in that case, they will again ask, oh, give us 20% and this and that. So, a fresh graduate coming out of the institute, again going to his parent demanding the money and all that. I think that kills the basic so-called tempo of startup and all that.
Perfect.
So I think really
Perfect.
thank you, sir, for the very nice information that you have given.
I will add
Uh,
some once
yeah,
just 1 minute. I will add but just one leaf to that. What I said,
yeah,
that
yeah,
in order to make this job still easier, there's
yeah,
one more route, sir. One more route that we will approach to the bank. But yes, before we approach to the bank for such a facility, maybe of modest facility, this could be a micro enterprise or maybe small enterprise. Looking at
yes,
at
yes,
least micro enterprise, the another route could be, instead of approaching directly to the bank, there are so many schemes. Specifically, I'm talking about what I have seen in the state of Maharashtra. I've seen this in the state of Gujarat, MP, Karnataka,
yeah,
also maybe Telangana, AP. There are various schemes of state government where you need to approach to the government as state government as such, or agency as such, wherein
yeah,
looking
yeah.
at your critical issue of providing or not being able to provide your own funds, this could be very well addressed by government of India, wherein they would be providing this capital of your own, okay, instead of your own
Uh-huh.
capital, that could be taken care of by the government. that
Oh, great, great, nice.
equity could be coming in the form of some subsidy, or maybe
Yeah.
somewhere it could be coming in the form of seed capital also. So I suppose that
Oh,
could be another idea could be explored, sir.
yeah, nice, very nice, sir. Very nice information, sir. I think that reduces the major stress that the very fresh graduate just carry.
Yes, sir.
Sir, now we'll go to the next stage, that is
Yes, sir.
B. Now, in the B stage is very critical because that's a TRL 5 to 8. And
Yeah,
suppose we get a grant in the stage A, and we generally set up our own prototypings and setup and all that. So, to take the product for final production level, stage B, which refers to TRL 5 to 8, is equally important. That's what I had written
correct.
also. The funding for the stage B needs more than the stage A, as the complete manufacturing line is to be set up by testing the prototype. And it is also seen that at the stage A, infrastructure is also set up, which needs
Perfect.
financial resources for maintenance.
Yes.
So, how will you guide the startup owner to arrange now for the stage B fund? This is more important. Many of these startup players, those who got the grant at the first stage, they always start thinking about the stage B, and then they start thinking, oh, whether I will be in a position to get my product in the market or not, or should I just leave this in between and go for again job seeking and all that. So, what is your guide, sir,
Yeah,
about
great.
it?
Another very good question, sir. And we are gradually coming to a more tangible stage, I suppose. Okay,
Perfect.
getting ourselves into stage B before. I suppose what is the approach of the bank or any institution also. When I say
Yeah,
bank, it's not only typically the public sector bank or private sector bank I'm talking about. This could be
yeah,
SIDBI also. So SIDBI also coming
yeah.
into fitting into that norm. So here
Sure.
the approach of the bank being that even though we are at an intermittent stage, I would say the stage B could be at an intermittent stage. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have already reached up to certain stage, sir. So whatever
Yes,
trials,
yes.
initial
Yes,
testing,
yes,
right,
yes,
pilot
yes.
model or maybe pilot testing, production, right,
Yeah,
test
yeah, yeah.
that we have already crossed, and somewhere we are at a, you can say, I'm what I feel step B and onwards would be a takeoff stage for us.
Yeah. Sir, 1 minute.
Yeah.
Bhushan Dharmik, will you please switch off your mic because it's disturbing the our interaction. Yeah. Yes, sir. Sir. Bhushan Dharmik, can you just switch off your mic? Yeah. Yes, sir. Sir, please.
Okay, sorry. So just yeah. So just to take the point forward, what I feel no, I feel that at the stage B is very very specific and critical also, because what we have mentioned is
Yes.
very true, that at such stage we have proved something. We our confidence
Yeah.
has been on a slightly on the upper scale as such. That's why
Yeah.
looking the queue at stage A, we are
Yeah.
at such a stage where we can invest something, where we can install something, as you rightly said, maybe
Yeah.
some tangible assets like infrastructure, something like that, maybe
Yeah.
initial some machinery. This has to be
Yeah.
acquired here, installed here also, so that
Yes.
can get up to a more constructive stage C, last stage.
Yeah.
That's why
Yes. Yes. Yes.
what bank approach is here, that they will definitely consider at B, just to give a comfort to all of us friends, that
Yeah.
definitely this is a stage from where bank would be willing to enter into the picture. That's
Yes.
absolutely true. And what bank will do? Bank will phase out the plan. Whatever business plan you have prepared, uh, Mr.
Yeah.
Bhushan.
I think Bhushan, you are disturbing.
Mr. Bhushan, do you have anything to ask critically?
Yes, Bhushan, please switch off your mic or just leave the meeting. You are disturbing the sirs.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Bhushan.
let's,
1 minute, sir. We'd like to
yeah,
talk to
sure,
you
sure, yeah.
first. Bhushan, can you hear me? Hello, Bhushan? Or Sandeep or Subodh? Can you just see that he is left off from the meeting? Subodh or Bhupesh? How to do that from here? Should I Bhushan Mahajan? Bhushan Mahajan, na? From where? Meet the control. कसं ठीक आहे भूषण महाजन म्यूटच नाही कुठून एक्सपेल ठीक आहे yes sir, I think sir you can start. Yeah.
Okay, can I continue? Thank you.
Yeah, sir, please sir.
Thank you.
Sorry
So
sir,
coming back to the point, friends. So as I said, we are absolutely appropriate on a very next stage of a discussion, wherein sir has taken up to more tangible, I would say tangible stage, where we have come to a stage. It's a scale of our confidence also, so we can showcase to the bank that sir, I have reached already done. This quite possible that bank was not involved into stage A or whatever 3-4 stages are there. Okay, bank was not there, so we had other options. Definitely we have tried also. So coming to the stage, what I was trying to tell you, friend, that bank will definitely consider, bank would be willing to enter into your enterprise, okay, your venture at this stage. What bank will do, the way evaluation takes place, bank will phase it out. Bank will try to phase out your project till the stage it comes up to the commercial stage. So what I feel, that at somewhere breakout stage of B, some commercials will definitely come out. Definitely there could be some resultant breakout, some result. So
This
bank will
great.
be more than willing to enter into the picture, provided all otherwise, all from all fronts you happen to be eligible, okay, and you can say bank worthy, you're worthy for availing to the
Yeah.
bank. So what bank will do?
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. So bank will phase out this project in a way that at bank will list out the investment to be done at bank this stage, wherein some initial infrastructure to build up, maybe some civil construction, maybe some lab to be constructed, maybe some office, etc. Okay, that may not be a major stage of investment like in the last stage. So we may
Yeah.
need more funds in some other form at the next stage. But here, uh, investment in a more tangible form could be needed. So that's
Yeah.
why I said, so this could be a very critical stage for you as well as for bank also to enter into the picture. Bank will
Yes.
definitely would like to help and provide the financial help to the deserving cases at this stage. Okay, except that the based on this evaluation by the bank, of course, bank will simultaneously sanction stage B as well as stage C. But when it
Yeah.
comes to the deployment of funds or disbursement of funds, that would happen in a stepwise manner. So whatever
Yeah.
plan you have, whatever plan you have in mind, okay, stepwise plan, or we call this as a sequential plan. So as
Yeah. Yeah.
in the sequence, what you do in plan B, bank will evaluate, bank will check, monitor, physically visit, inspect the progress what you have done, and then possibly even though we are sanctioned in next stage, stage C, then bank will enter into the stage C. That's how it
Okay.
happens.
Great.
But one thing to make it clear, bank would be willing to come into the picture at this stage, sir. That's
Oh,
what.
great, sir. Thank you. That's a
Thank
really
you.
very good
Thank you.
information that you have just given. Because, everybody tries hard to get the funding at the stage A. But the
Absolutely.
stage B, as you rightly said, now I think the researcher or the startup owner can approach to the bank and get the things clear. So, same thing is, I think, when we look at the uh, stage of the. Yeah. Yeah. So about the C, that means the last stage. I think this is very critical stage because here now we are almost in entering into the market with our
Absolutely
product.
correct. Absolutely correct.
So I think there, no doubt, as you rightly said, that the bank will be really happy to rather fund us and all that. So as the stage C, most important that the product will be in the market. The owner of the company should be self-sufficient to manage the finance at this stage. But now the scalability of the startup is the main issue now. The finance is required, which can be raised either by the loan or by the crowdfunding. So what are the pros and cons of the loan and crowdfunding, sir? Which one
Okay.
is more desirable in such cases?
Okay. We good one. So in a perspective way, we have come to stage C now. So at the
Yeah.
product will be okay market. So we are talking about a very important aspect of any project as such, and we are really very appropriate touch that aspect as such. I would say
Yes.
as an entrepreneur, sir, he has come to a maturity stage now. Very
Yes. Yes.
phenomenal stage as such. So what I mean here that any entrepreneur he has come to a commercial stage now as a part of various commercial aspects. Definitely he must have touch base. He has identified the market, analyzed the marketplace also. Now he knows who are going to be his customer class or the very types of customer, which segment
Yes.
of customer he is going to address. Okay, what could be pros and cons also. When I say pros and cons, that definitely I feel even though you have your uniqueness of your whatever product you have, quite unique.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
hatke, offbeat product you have, but still I feel
Yes.
that the market may have this product in some other form, other avatar also, right? They may have.
Yes. Yes.
So you may
Yes.
feel the hit that okay, sir, some other people are already offering as such. But even though I have something special, something unique to offer to the customer as such, how to touch base them, how to get
Yes.
reach up to that stable also. But one thing I
Yes.
must tell you, whatever I experienced about such level of entrepreneurs, they try to put in their best efforts. Definitely
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah.
try best of their efforts. So
Yeah.
it's not new nuance that government or any such agency would be required or would be entry into a picture of your venture just to supplement your efforts. What I feel now,
Yeah.
the primary part is has been already done by the customer entrepreneur here, which has been judged
Yeah.
by the bank also. So
Yes. Yes.
phenomenally, and bank and government has really realized that yes, in order to make your marketing segment perfect way, some efforts from government also are required. Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
we wish to put before two initiatives by the government. I think for days to come, okay, this will find a more meaningful support from the government also. Okay, so one is
Great.
one such product many of you could be knowing is called a mass market assistance scheme, mass. Okay,
Okay.
very
Okay.
popular,
Okay.
a very absolutely popular scheme, except that we need to enter into the real deliverables from the government as such, which is I suppose our all entrepreneurs or all my friends which are yet to reach up to that level to understand as to
Yeah.
what is in what best way government is coming to supplement my efforts, support my
Yeah.
efforts also. So mass market assistance scheme is a very unique product and scheme also, wherein
Yeah.
you have some product, you have reached up to certain level of your customer class, but
Yeah.
if you wish, and everybody would wish to extend it further, okay, to
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
step thereafter also. So in order to
Yeah.
expand your you can say your market universe, marketplace, this market
Yeah.
assistance scheme mass would be definitely helpful as such. Okay,
Oh,
not
nice.
only
Very nice.
just to have a spirit, but government is very keen to incur good amount of expenses, good amount of money for your purpose, in a way that government has different initiatives where you could be holding the finger of the government agencies, and would be showcasing, expanding your market. You can say display your market in different places, different
Yeah.
locations, in different forums also. This could be
Yeah.
in the form of trade fair, or maybe you can say trade exhibitions. Okay, such a
Yeah. Yeah.
market, either government will arrange such a conglomerate themselves, or government would be
Yeah.
actively participate into such a fair, such a market also, wherein you will have a scope. So the government would get connected with you. Sir, you are entrepreneur, you have such a unique product. Okay, you have some market, but why not to expand this market with our help? Please
Ah,
hold my
nice.
fingers, my help. I will definitely support you also. Mass is
Oh,
one
great.
scheme. Again, one small, one or two small initiatives by the government. Typically, many of you may have a doubt, may have that question also. They are okay, sir. I will take assistance from the government. I will join hands with them and go further. But many of you may have a dream of not limiting your product within the boundaries of India also. Okay, and
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
should think of that also. So those
Yes.
who
Yes.
would
Yes.
like to have a flavor of international skies, international market also, there's a
Ah,
scheme. Government has realized this, and very peculiarly government has such as, there are a lot of products, but just to mention one about this, which would enable you to touch base with the international market and showcase your product, display your product, and happily come back with a positive response also. Okay,
Oh,
because you will be there, we're working there under the government umbrella, so that support, that shade will always be there. Okay, that
yes,
scheme is
yes,
called
yes.
IC, as international cooperation. This is nothing but
Okay.
government initiative to get to enable you to reach into the market and proudly showcase your product range and establish your own space there. Okay, that product is
Oh,
called IC, international cooperation as such, right?
operation. Nice,
Thirdly,
nice,
just
nice.
to just touch base because it has come up recently, government is also planning to establish one initiative which is called e-launch.
Okay.
E-launch. E-launch is nothing but it's a marketplace, but it is electronic or it is a virtual marketplace. Okay, will be created huge market. You can say new ground will be created by you through which you could be a beneficiary of the government. Okay, and again here also you can expand your range of your product, your market, type of customer, segment of customer also. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so this the two
So,
three initiatives I just wanted to be clear, sir.
oh, great, sir. Great. Really nice information, especially of the mass and then your IC and e-launch. I think that will definitely help a lot for our startup
Thank
people,
you.
those who are
Thank you.
interested in startup. Yeah. One interesting thing about the startup, those who are from the our engineering institute and all that. As I have mentioned, like most of our researchers are excellent in technical know-how, but they lack knowledge of commercial aspect and finance related. As they need to focus on improvement in the product always, they may not get time to learn commerce related activity. And this may lead to a problem of managing the finance and thus creates more stress. Relying more on the CA or the financial advisor may boomerang. So, what precaution the startup owner should take to avoid a situation? I don't know how far
Fantastic.
I have framed this question rightly, but then
I think very phenomenal question, I must say, and I think you are tried to read minds of so many participants here. Those
yeah,
specifically who have a tech savvy people having a technology background or maybe
yeah,
a more technical whatever way. Yeah, and I suppose you touched the hearts of so many people. So really my pleasure to reply for this question. I agree. Okay, at first place, I do agree as such. Okay, because you being a businessman, are you being a turn out to be a very successful businessman, which you have been dreaming for. Okay, so
yeah,
what happens now? You're more of concentration or you're focusing of all your maximum efforts towards your product innovation,
yes,
product improvisation. Okay, then getting into the market, getting the new customer, negotiating the customer. Right, that happens somewhere you're successful also, but
mm,
I suppose on equally on the technical part of this game, another very
yeah,
equally important game is about the finance also. Okay,
yes,
so
yes,
talking
yes,
about
sir.
a commercial as such, I suppose will lead you into a long way as such, because what we'll do, we prepare a perspective plan initially, business plan is with you as such. For what purpose we prepare? We have been discussing into the training also that
Yes,
okay, fine,
yes,
I
yes,
need to prepare plan because I need to take a loan, I need to go to the
yeah,
bank,
yeah,
and whatever way they need, okay, lelo, but I need funds. So I suppose this perspective plan happens to be a short term measure for many of the entrepreneurs. So
yes, yes,
ideal there should not be, because business plan maybe this happens to be a document for getting the funds, but at the same time this is your road path.
yeah,
This is your the road path the future also. Okay, so when we look
yes,
at the road, maybe your path, your perspective for next 5 years, I'm saying a fair period, 5 years, you must have the specific stages also, stage in between as such.
yeah,
Where I am here, so where I would like to reach after 1 year. It not in
yes,
terms of only your production, aggregate production, double the capacity, whatever way you will do
yeah,
this, but how
yeah,
come that will have enough reflection in, again, you can say more meaningful into vitamin M. Okay, unless and until we have vitamin M, traffic comes. But as you rightly
yes,
said,
yes, that's
yeah. But
Yes.
just to share a small my experience, which is really unique. I think many
Yeah.
of you definitely would cherish for it. Um, in our bank, there are around 22, maybe 22 to 25%, one fourth of my team. Okay,
Yeah.
they are engineers.
Okay,
They're
great. So
engineers.
great.
Okay, yeah. But and let me tell you, that will we feel more happy, and I'm also proud to tell you that all of them, almost all of them, they are outstanding performers,
Oh,
absolutely
nice. So
outstanding
great.
performance. So, but and that is the reason, as a policy also, let me tell you, now this will be confusing your mind that okay, sir, what the engineers are going coming are doing in the bank as such. But let me tell you,
Yeah.
okay, given the opportunity, given the opportunity,
Yes.
okay, either they may be absolutely at a scratch stage as far as commercial or maybe finance is concerned. The way they pick up, once they
Yeah.
decide, the way they pick up, they analyze the issue financially, more
Yeah.
of financially. Okay, they are the
Yeah.
masters. Why
Yes.
I'm
So
telling you,
great. So
friends, my intention to share with you has been is that this is somewhere at initial stage. Either we have a fear, okay, about this field, or
yeah.
we are reluctant to go to that field also. So it is our
Yes.
our own thought process, I feel.
Yes.
So many
Yes.
of us,
Yes.
if you are such a capable person, entrepreneur, technically most competent as such, okay, you know your product very well, enough clarity of the product is there, you know
Yeah.
where to reach this product, everywhere you are there. So against this
Yes.
background, enough you can say unique background of yourself, financial
Yeah.
area should not be an issue for you, should not be big issue for you at all. What is
Yes.
needed here is involve yourself to whatever
That's true.
extent you
That's
need to, you must. And whatever finances, whatever you can say commercial areas of your business are there. Okay, so
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ultimate master should be yours only. Maybe this
Okay.
could be to take some stand, to expand, to put more capital, to have more investment to some machinery, whatever. The final call should be yours as such. So
Oh.
in a way to have that competency, friends. I'm quite sure, and this I'm vouching for my own experience also, that once you have your mind involved into this, okay, so
Yeah.
you have enough sphere of the financial matters also. But I'm
Okay.
not underscoring other people, those who are authority as such. But as you have
Uh-huh.
very rightly put in the question, sir, to a certain extent, you can you can take an
Yeah.
assistant from a authority like chartered accountant, or maybe some
Yeah.
financial assistant, maybe your bank also. So your first
Yes.
your first a teacher for finance would be your banker. They will be
Yes.
willing to
Yes.
give
Yes.
you some inputs also, at least to the
yeah.
extent of the transaction what you're supposed to do with the bank also. Okay, that's
Yeah.
why. So
Yes.
I'm very very quite sure, friends. Only it's a question of your mind share as such. That's why
Oh, great.
it's a very appropriate question. So at the same time, you need not have overconfidence over dependence with anybody else. Like chartered
Yeah.
accountant,
Yeah.
they are there to
Yeah.
guide you. But yes, have this in mind from today itself. Yes, I need to learn
Yeah.
what balance sheet, what way the people, how this gets tallied.
Yeah.
No magic at all. So getting the
Great,
balance
sir.
sheet
Really.
preparing and getting it tallied is no matter at all. For a technical
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
you should not be
Yeah.
difficult at all. No reservation at all. Only thing, just try to shift the gear somewhere and create some amount of interest into this. At least for your own business, on your business perspective for future.
Yeah, it's a really very, very nice in way you have explained to us. And I just showed the two figures. Like
Yes, sir.
we want to rather make ourselves stress-free, not the stressful. So just
Correct.
add to
Absolutely.
whatever you have said. I just prepared. I would like to show you one more interesting slide here.
Yes, sir.
That
Yes, sir.
I'm just showing here the engineer who is a stress-free CEO. So what I'm rather showing here is that the for the technical aspect, he can have
Yeah.
so many other assistants. But I think finance, as you rightly say, he should be competent enough to handle. So that he should focus more on the finance. Technical, no doubt, the technical side is required to be looked into for development of the product and all that. But for that, he will get good number of people from outside. But finance side, I think he has to learn it as a CEO of the startup. I think that's a
Absolutely
wonderful
correct.
thing, sir.
Very well
Uh,
drawn. Very well drawn diagrams. It explains all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I think whosoever wants wish to be the CEO of the startup or who would like to
Perfect.
start a startup, they should study the finance also, even if they are having an engineering background, I think then
Correct.
only they will be succeeding in the whole system.
Thank you.
So nice of you, sir. A wonderful interaction. Let's see, sir, there is any questions from the participant. I would like to just
Yeah.
stop sharing my screen and let us see if there is anything on the chat so that we can look into it. Maybe then I can even ask more question. Yeah. So here,
I would like, sir, I would like to add just one point. The
yeah,
way
yeah.
you
Please,
have
sir.
been,
Please.
you have been a participant for the startup program. Likewise,
Yeah,
for all those who may have that my basic background is different. Okay, I have entered into the business as my own empire I have built up. But now government has also taken very good initiatives to
yeah,
upgrade you. Okay, to upscale your knowledge into this particular area also. So just to
yeah.
mention the program, and I think this could be more useful. There is a program specifically for technical guys, maybe
Uh-huh.
I would say capsule program. This is called as
Okay.
a finance for non-finance managers.
Oh, great, great,
The
great, great,
program is,
great.
and absolutely, this has come from MSME, because government also realized this. So at this point of time where we need to have a cross-dimensional knowledge, okay, various
Oh,
areas, so it's needed also. That's why, and it's not a question of survival, but it's a question of, you can say, galloping ahead also. So you really
yes,
want to
yes, yes.
gallop, definitely you need to have also need of the
So,
hour
so,
as
so,
well.
so
So
such training
government has
program is already
realized.
being run or it is uh, proposed? This program that you said, finance for the non-financier, is it that this training program is already existing or it is yet
Already
to
exist,
be?
yeah, they are already running, sir. Definitely,
Oh,
yes, yes.
great, great, great,
I would,
great, great,
yeah,
great.
based on the discussion, since I'm a member of the panel, central panel of MSME, I would definitely
Yeah,
advocate that you should have more
sure,
of
sure.
such programs as such.
Oh,
Definitely,
great,
it's there.
great, great, great.
It is a pre-designed program, against capsule program for maybe 2 or 3 days. It is called a
Oh.
finance for non-finance. I suppose having this training or these inputs should be sufficient at least to change your gears, to change your mind share.
Yes, yes,
This is
yes,
not
that's
difficult.
true.
I can involve, I can look at into my own figures only. At least that is
So,
sufficient,
sir,
sir.
yeah, but suppose we wish to join this training program, then is there a regular announcement of such programs
Yeah,
in
there'll
the
be announcement
MSA?
from Government of India, yes, and
Okay,
definitely
okay.
I would be in touch with you for your team
Sure, sure.
also. Definitely,
Please,
sir,
sir, please,
definitely.
please. It
Sure,
will be
sure.
my pleasure, sir. Yeah. Yeah. So let's look at the chat if there is anything question that the people would like to ask. Like Dr. Sudhir has asked, like we are on the Agri Business Incubation Center under the aegis of State Agriculture University based at Gwalior. We shall like to work with BETIC-VNIT for the synergy. Yes, sir, please. It will be my pleasure
Fantastic.
to get associated with you. Then one more, I think, from Sudhir has come. How to access that program, sir? The program for finance for the non-finance people. Yeah, as the
Yeah,
same
that's
thing.
what I said. As of now, these are not that regularly, because as sir has attended the program on startup, because it's icon program, signature
Yeah.
program, Government of India. Likewise, I suppose that such a program also finds appropriate place, and it should be held more frequently. So of course there are announcements from Government of India. This could be appearing in various local newspaper also. But at my level, whenever I get an intimation, definitely sir is there as a very strong connecting force for me. So I'll be in
Yeah.
touch with him. So he could be definitely passing it on to all the interested participants like you. Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
are our conviction for
Yeah. Yeah.
both of
Yeah.
us. Sure.
Sir, we will wait some more questions on the chat, but before that,
Please.
let me ask some question as a
Sure,
participant
sure.
also to you.
Sure, sir.
Sir, in one of the book, I had read that it is written that ideally the idea of the product should be taken to market for few hundred rupees, not because you don't have the more capital at your disposal, but
Okay.
because you wanted to show that it could be done. You don't need all those things like an office, a world class agency to create the brand, stock, printing, web development to at least get a product into the market. So now my question is it possible to take micro loan from the bank
Good.
and then top up it as and when needed? Is it possible?
Absolutely. Great idea.
Yeah.
Great question. And I think I must address sometime. It's yes. First of all, because of the new dynamics under
Yeah.
MSME. Again, I will come to you can say the dimension of MSME.
Yeah.
MSME in the recent directives last year, May 2020, which they have come
Yeah.
out. For the first time, what they have done is they have merged these two areas. Okay,
Yeah.
for a good reason, to the manufacturing as well as service industry. They are merged, so there is
Yes.
no distinction between this. So all
Yeah.
those benefits, guidelines, policy guidelines, which are applicable to the manufacturing sector, they're equally applicable to the service sector as well. Okay,
Okay.
so the way you are talking about, sir, that will come somewhere into the services sector.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so because somewhere you, as you are rightly said, you may not have any systematic plant, machinery, okay, maybe factory as such. There is
Yeah.
no need also.
Yes. Yeah.
As long as you know the product very well, you know where from to search source from, and to enter into the market, or or
Yes.
to introduce into the market. As long as you know this, yes, this is equally tangible and feasible business. Not only government of India, but yes, within the purview of new guidelines of MSME, definitely will be fundable and feasible also.
Oh,
A
great, sir.
good example of the B2B. What is
Yeah.
B2B? So you
Yeah.
don't need any office, you don't need any
Yes.
furniture as
Yes.
such.
Yes. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
This
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
take a shape of somewhere B2B and B2C also.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely, yes.
That's what exactly the case is, sir. Like many times I used to tell my student that
Yes,
don't
sir.
be the entrepreneur. That only I want to start and I want to start. Don't discuss it. Start doing it. At least when you will enter into the market, you will come to know like what exactly you are supposed to do, how exactly the finance is. Otherwise, simply sitting and planning every time but not executing makes no
Perfect.
sense. So,
Just to mention, just to take the same leap forward, I
yeah,
said that yes, funding would be available, but for the benefit of many of our friends here, I would mention two
yeah,
products. One, in a modest way, the scheme what we discussed during training program is called a Mudra loan. Many of you must be knowing. Just to kickstart on a very modest scale. Okay, I
yeah,
suppose getting the capital from the bank. Okay,
yes,
through Mudra scheme could be absolutely appropriate for you. And as I
yeah,
experience, Mudra scheme happens to be most popular scheme amongst all entrepreneurs as well as with the
yeah,
banks also. So
yes,
very
yes,
proudly,
yes,
bank
yes.
would have equally very dynamically involved into the scheme. So same is the case for you also. So it may
Yeah.
come to your mind, why not to touch, why not to have the flavor of very small, very modest scale of finance also. Mudra scheme.
Yes,
And
yes.
another one
Yeah.
that thing we discussed in the class was PMEGP.
Uh-huh.
PMEGP. Pradhan
Yes.
Mantri Employment Generation Program. So all for
Okay.
all those new, specifically new entrepreneurs who would like to kickstart for the first time. Okay, upcoming entrepreneurs. Okay, this is going to be a most popular scheme across the country. This is a
Yes,
Pradhan
yes.
Mantri scheme, and all across the country with all banks this is applicable.
Oh, great, sir.
So this
That's nice.
just to take that leap forward, just wanted to mention
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that's nice, sir.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
some more questions are coming on
Yeah,
the chat, but before that, I would also like to ask one more question to you. Like, if loan is taken from the bank, for the startup, whether services offered by the CA are possible from the bank as an additional benefit, maybe as a nominal fee or the fixed fee or like that. Because see, many times we have to take the services of the CA and other things, even for getting the documents, certified documents and all. So if we take the loan from the bank, can
this
we get this as a by paying
Yes,
some nominal fee and
yes,
all that?
yes,
So yeah,
yes, definitely yes. But this would be coming under not an investment cost. That will be coming
yeah,
under the working capital cost as such. Because as and when
okay,
we require, maybe these will come under the consultancy cost or advising cost, whatever way. This could be
okay,
very well funded by government, by the bank in the form of working
okay,
capital. That's one. Just add one more point, friends. We always look for some consultancy, some advice. Okay, from time to time from a qualified person like CA, chartered accountant also. But there's
yes.
one more initiative which government has taken to provide you initial consultancy, initial advice, or again I would
Sure.
say hand holding. Okay, you
Uh-huh.
may feel that okay, I'm ready with everything now, and I know some choices are there available also, but where to
Yes.
go? We are on the crossroads. Supposing that we are on the
Yes. Yes.
crossroads, where to go?
Yes.
Which direction? So for that purpose, government has introduced a very unique concept. Okay, which who would they and very unique, which would give you proper direction, proper
Okay.
guidance, proper advice also. They are and it has been introduced by CDB, Small Industries Development Bank of India. The
Okay.
concept is called as CCC, Certified
Okay.
Credit Counselor.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay, so wherever required, initially you must, and these are all free. The advice is available freely. There are no charges as
Oh,
such. They
very
all
nice, sir. Thank you.
happen to be they are appointed by SIDBI, and they are
Yeah.
quite senior, maybe in their own areas. They are already proved. They wish to provide such services. All those who are trying to find a proper direction as such. So
Thank you,
definitely,
sir.
when required, you must take help of CCCs, Certified
Yeah.
Credit Counselors.
Oh, nice, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for a very nice information. There are two questions
Yeah, please.
on the chat. One is by Sandeep. He said
Yeah.
that highlight the government schemes for startup to waive off the taxation like GST, custom duty, etc., so that startup can save this tax amount and utilize it in manufacturing setup. We can balance GST in sales and purchase, but in emerging startup, only purchasing takes place and sales are zero. So it is difficult for the startup to handle this tax. Any comment on this?
Okay.
Can you read
Good.
the
Acha.
things?
Just to give a comfort to all startup entrepreneurs that initially under MSME, if you, definitely you happen to be under MSME area for initial 10 years, and thanks to our Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she has waived off all taxes for the last initial 10 years. So you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
a tax holiday for initial 10 years as such.
yeah,
After
yeah,
10
yeah.
years only this point will come, and I
Oh,
suppose
okay, okay.
you could be quite capable to pay off the taxes after 10 years as such.
Great,
The
great, great, great. So
big
really
holiday is
nice
initially
thing.
complete.
Yeah, thanks to government for doing this. Uh, Sir, one of the interesting point which I would like to ask you,
Yeah, yeah,
like the progress of the startup is the key feature. Like
yeah.
the TRL 1 to 4, then 5 to 8,
Correct,
ABC
correct,
state
correct,
and whatever else. Now, the economic condition of the startup or that company is the major indicator of the progress of the company.
correct.
And so, how to check the economic position of the company at regular interval during the startup phase? That means during that phase. Uh, that is, see,
Okay.
at stage A, stage B, stage C, that okay, our economic condition is okay. Otherwise, see, the as usual, I told you, like we only focus on the technical aspect of the product and whether the
Absolutely,
product will be sellable, and we interact with so many people, but we don't
absolutely
look at
correct.
the economy. Yeah.
Yeah, good one. I would say what is our basic, you can say a basic factor to look at your business getting in tune with the economy. Okay, is to see
Yes.
that whatever, of course, you will invest something, you will invest some amount of yourself, some amount from the bank. Okay, so
Yes.
some amount of own capital may be required, and some amount of majority from borrowed capital. So suppose
Yes.
your total investment happens to be 100 rupees, for example.
Yeah.
So what you
Yes.
need to
Yes.
see that it is going well, attuned with the economy, and you are very well facing the economy and doing well, would be the factor which is called as uh, within how much minimum time your capital will be paid off. This is something called a
Okay.
return on capital. So suppose
Yes.
100
Yes.
rupees, it means it is your majority has come in the form of borrowed capital. So what you need to see that your own investment plus borrowed capital, in how much period this could be paid off, or your
Okay.
initial investment could be made zero. Okay, that
Yes.
could be
Yes.
the
Yes.
clear indicator, or you can say barometer of your activity
Oh,
going on
yes.
smoothly as such. Ideally,
Yes.
ideally you could reckon this period as between 3 to 5 years. Like, take this as 5 years. So ideally
Okay.
for any enterprise, okay, not to go for a very long period, because we are not talking about infrastructure project as such, not a big.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So okay,
Yeah.
wherein
Yeah. Only.
this period could be larger. But for any
Yes.
typical activity, what we are looking forward, this payback, we call this as a payback period. So payback
Yes.
period is a real indicator to see that yes, I have invested 100 rupees, I have taken a loan, or in all, so I'm free, I'm debt free, run mukta after 5 years. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
that should be the real indicator in a way that you are going on a right direction somewhere. This could
Yes.
be the thing.
Yes.
Other than this, there are so many monitoring tools which are required also. But you can deploy, you cannot. Payback period is the one measure. Second measure which many upcoming industries they use, this is called a PERT chart, PERT, for
Yes.
program evaluation and review
Should
technique.
really take. Yes, yes,
It's the
yes,
same way.
yes.
So it will show
Yeah.
one way what is the ideal way and what is the variance, or what way you
Yes.
are being diverted, or how much is the variance, how much
Yes.
is the variation you are going away from your own charted out path. So you can see,
Yes.
okay, for 5%, 10% variance is okay till the time it comes into normalcy. But the more the variance, more could be the worrying factor for you also. That should not
Yes.
happen.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I
therefore
think,
two
sir.
methods are there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you can try these two methods as
Yeah, yeah. So actually, I rather take it this way. Like many people or those researchers, they win the BIRAC or any other grant. They should
yes, sir.
look at it as if that is an loan they have taken from somebody, and see that how much time is required to pay off all these things through our
Perfect, perfect.
startup. I think that
What
should
you're
be the
talking about the
case.
total level of your capital. This could be maybe
Yes.
from outside, maybe
Yes.
relatives you
Yes.
have taken, maybe
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
friends. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
So when we
Yeah.
say payback, the entire should be clean up.
Yes, yes, that's wonderful, sir.
Basically,
Yes,
all
sir.
right.
I think that's a really good indicator.
Thank you.
Uh, another interesting point, sir, I would like to just ask, like the profit generally, whatever the startup they generate, where
Yeah.
it should be invested. That is the
Acha.
one of the
Okay.
major
Good.
question, or rather major worry about the, because once you get the profit, it should be invested in such a way that our startup should again rather.
Very good question. A
Yeah.
very good question. I would say कि, people are thinking of the perspective also. कि what to do. They are thinking, oh, yes, and that should happen. That it could be a period of 1 year, 1.5 years. So I will have
Yeah.
enough money as such. Okay.
Yes, yes.
So my not only wallet, but my bank account has become very warm, very hot. Okay. So that good, very good thinking. So a few delivery with people come to me and ask also, sir, I have reached up to the stage now. What to do with? So, first of all, you must see the benchmark level.
Yes.
What is the benchmark level as such? So, benchmark level it should be your very own. You'll feel that okay, sir. I initially at first stage, maybe somewhere in your stage C onwards,
Yeah.
you must see yourself that what is the benchmark level, which is the first level of my achievement. So you can
Okay.
say once I
Yes.
reach this, once I reach and go beyond, I think so. I would be somewhere going for stabilizing myself. Why I say
Yeah.
stabilizing? In the sense that okay, there could be a degree of smoothness, regular flows happening. So inflows take having an equation with outflows very well. In a way,
Yeah.
you find that okay, sir, now with whatever efficiency with I'm working with whatever team I have working, I have good amount of, I would say, instead of profit, let's talk it as a surplus. So I have enough
Yes.
surplus now, enough
Yeah.
surplus. So there are ways, admins, and there are some you can say ideal ways of investing and reinvesting also. Okay, so
Yes.
suppose you have say 15% profit, net profit, or you can say PAT, profit after tax, or net surplus profit, say 15%. Uh, ideal way, ideal way is to plow
Uh-huh.
back in the way कि you have balance sheet now. No, again I'm taking you to your planning on balance sheet. So here, um, suppose you have a net surplus of 100 rupees a year. But let us look at the year end. So out of
Okay.
this, normally it happens that 60%, 50 to 60% is plowed back. In a way, every year you have more business, more sales to happen, more production to happen. So out of this net surplus you have, always major portion goes into redeployment. So every
Okay.
year, every
Yes.
now and then, you should not go to the bank, sir. My मेरा धंधा बढ़ रहा है, so I need
Yeah.
more funds. Okay,
Yeah.
to a certain extent it could happen, but ideally, if you can manage your money management part, if you can
Yeah.
manage in such a way that 50%, okay, fine, I'm comfortable, I don't want to borrow further or much, whatever borrowing level I have, I'm continuing, but 50% I'm uh, plowing back, redeploying into my business.
Yes.
That should
Very
be the
good.
ideal one,
Yes.
around 40
Yeah.
to 50%. That would take
Okay.
care of your expansion for the next year subsequently. and this you can
Yes.
exercise you can have every year as well. Okay,
Yes. Yes.
so
Yes.
again, question what to do with the balance 50 rupees? Again, I have right? Um, Again, of course, I'm putting a very ideal question, ideal picture for you.
Yeah.
After putting some amount of in the form of redeployment or plowing back, around
Yeah.
20% on an average, 15 to 20% should be put into something called an emergency
Okay.
fund, or we also call it as a reserves.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that could make your capital structure. Capital is what? The capital is nothing but your pillar. Okay, so you need
Yes.
to add more and more strength into your pillar also. Okay, and
Yes.
this could be
Yes.
very prudent
Yes.
measure for you, that you try to make some amount, 15%, 20%, maybe more also, to add to your reserve policy. Reserve is nothing but a liability, but yes, to
Yes.
that liability by putting our one side of the balance sheet strong.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
this could
Yes.
be required any point of time, maybe for additional machinery or equipment, vehicles, or whatever way. So and every year that should go on strengthening. Another
Yeah.
almost around 10% to 15%, whatever. 10, let's assume 10%
Yeah.
should be used for consumption purpose. What for we are into
Yes.
business, sir. Okay, we are
Yes.
also responsible to our family,
Yes.
dependents.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes. Yes.
10
That's
to
true. That's
15
true,
of
sir.
this equitably should be used for your own consumption also. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
and
Yes.
of course, then 5-10%. This is all your call. You can go for some tax investment. Okay, tax
Yeah.
saving, some bonds,
Yeah.
some shares,
Yeah.
which would again going into the investment, but this is your personal investment as you are taking
Yes.
out from the
That's true. That's
business,
true.
and you can invest that also. So broad
Yeah.
spectrum I'm putting before you, sir. You can say ideal.
Yes. Sir.
I'll be
Yeah.
happy that somewhere plus minus you can do this. You can say money on this part. This will help you,
Yes. Yes.
and you will remember me after 5 years.
Yes.
That's
Sir.
all.
That's a wonderful thing, sir. The way you have said that how it is to be invested. From in one of the book I had just read, they said that the pricing of the product which you
Yeah.
are manufacturing and all that, that is very important, because
Yes.
they say that don't stand in the middle of the road. They say that
Correct.
better have the your price of the product as cheap as possible so that anyone can afford it, or it should be as high as you can. In that case, you can have the quality very well, but don't stand
Perfect.
in the middle of the road where you will find many people. So
Perfect.
what they
Perfect.
say, that the whatever the profit you earn, just like the way you say, sir, the deployment. So if you are focusing on the cheap product, or the I don't mean to say cheap means the cost effective product, better adopt some more measures so that it will become still more cheaper and more
Absolutely.
people will purchase it. And if at
Absolutely,
all
sir.
you are focusing on the very high price item, then
Perfect.
see
Perfect.
that it is you have redeploy your profit in a such a
Perfect.
way that you will be the best in the market. No one will even try to enter into your business. To that, that's I think
Perfect.
that's what
Yeah.
I
And
read it.
what I would add to your whatever you very rightly said, sir, that
Yeah.
first of all, people have a tendency to go for at least for a startup entrepreneur, that they would like to penetrate more into the
Yeah.
market and have a
Yeah.
bigger share as such. I would
Yes.
say for a long-term basis, this may not be advisable policy as such. Okay, so
Okay. Okay.
because this is not the short any entrepreneur, they are not looking from short-term gain as such. All of us, we are here
Yes.
and looking at the long-term perspective
Yes.
also, looking
Yes.
at that
Yes.
prospect, that direction as such, just to lower the prices and grab the share may not, because not only this would be damaging your own reputation, because that worth, that goods or a product is not worth for that lower price as such. You
Yes.
should
Yes.
evaluate and come out with the real value of the product as such. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
should not go down with just to with an intention to grab the market more share, which should not be happens. You get more, okay, you earn more also, but it's always in short term,
Yes.
because
Yes.
always
Yes.
there are
That's
some
true.
more intelligent people like us also, right? So that is my takeaway from maybe what you experience. At the same time,
Yeah.
people feel that okay, I have come with such a product, okay, we're very unique, and with such a product, with a lot of efforts which I have put in, okay, with a lot of pains also, I wish to
Yeah.
offer this product at a very premium rate also.
Yeah.
Premium.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good thought. But for that matter, you need to see a uniqueness of your product. To
Yes,
what
yes.
way the
That's
product and its features are unique. And secondly, more importantly, you should look at the affordability or other acceptability of the product also.
yes, yes, yes. That's
Most
true.
of the cases, even though we are looking out for or the some unique feature of the product, but the product may not be altogether different, hatke, except
Yeah, yeah.
unless until it's a vaccine or some product like this.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we should not term that, sir. My product is so different, and somewhere we should not tag this as a monopoly product. Today's world,
Yeah,
sir, whatever experience I can just to share with you,
yeah.
very few, hardly there are such any product or any facility which comes as a monopoly product as such.
Yes,
Then in
yes,
that case, you're
yes.
free to have any price as such. So
That's
we
true.
need
That's
to
true.
have some balancing mechanism between these also.
Yeah,
Somewhere,
yeah.
try to be there, stay there, and then gradually create your place and your acceptability and affordability for your
Yes,
product also.
yes,
This is
yes.
going to be a long term future.
Yeah, yeah.
Those
That's
are
what
my
they say, sir. Like nowadays, USP is dead. There is nothing like a
USP.
USP.
Correct.
Sir, some questions from the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ajay Misal has written that good evening, sir. Finance for the startup is very much crucial, but the funding part is also very much needed during ongoing PhD. Due to lack of funding, many research scholars are not able to fabricate the sophisticated experimental setup and have to find some jugaad. Oh, so there is any way to access funding during the research? I think this is more related to the funding that you have to get it from the academic institute, I think, Ajay, not
Okay.
related to the startup. Yes, so Pranav has asked how much percentage of equity founders should keep so that they have control over the business
Good one.
after
Good.
raising pressure is
Very good
a
question.
round.
Very good question, sir.
Yeah, nice.
Appreciable, Pranam. Appreciable. Good question. So we have been talking about funding coming from all conventional sources. Okay, generic sources like banks, institutions, should be also. At the same time, what I could see for the last almost 5 years, sir, that there is a increasing incidences wherein people are some got of some money, or rather there are people with haves. I have some haves, and a lot of people
Okay.
they are have nots, have and have nots. Okay,
Yes,
so there is
yes.
always clash between haves some section and have nots. So definitely it will be
Okay.
there. So looking at those sections that they have some funds, they are ready to deploy the funds, maybe as a venture capital, angel capital also. At the same
Yeah.
time, they would like to see the product, your capability, and your zeal to go ahead as such, or you can say sustainability of your product. That is more
Okay.
important for them. So Pranav
Yes.
has asked very good question. This could be good choice for you. That suppose you find that I have some equity of my own, but I wish that if some investor, maybe you can say a reasonable investor comes, he will be definitely you can say it is a partnership for me. He would
Yeah.
be added as a partner, or you can say my associate by way of his funding also. The Pranav,
Yeah.
what Pranav has asked, that to what extent or to up to what extent we can restrict that investor. I
Yes.
think that is the question.
Yes.
um, Normally, of course, theoretically also, even though you may have good amount of need or good amount of equity you may need, but ideally provided that you may have some funds, uh, outside fund or equity participation normally should not exceed 50% of the total capital.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Ideally, yeah. So
Yeah.
there it has so many dimensions of so many dimensions as such. It's not only question of the cost of the funds also. At the same time, it has impact on more of a control also.
Yeah.
So suppose
Yeah.
you are the owner, you are the business owner. Why you would like anybody to be into your seat as a business owner, or to
Yes.
have
Yes.
more control than you also. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
from that point of view, I suppose maybe you may need a big amount of fund, or maybe investor is very much crazy about your product. He may be willing to invest more amount of fund also, but you should try to restrict somewhere also, as a need based equity capital only. How much need
Okay.
based? Maybe
Nice.
it can go up to 30%, 40% also, but should not be more than
Yeah.
that. It means
Yeah.
other way around, you should be capable of investing some amount your own capital also,
Oh,
so that
yes. Yes.
then
Yes.
only you could be restricting, you could be able to restrict that equity test. There are so many
Yes.
dimensions. I'm not discussing all of them, but two three
Yeah.
points
Yeah.
are very relevant, sir. So you
Yeah.
would not afford to lose your control on the business as such.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
That is
That's true.
major.
That's true.
At the same time, when it comes to payback, okay, so that stage should not come maybe after 5 years, 7 years, that it could become a very unwieldy, difficult to pay
Yeah.
back also. So that should
Yeah.
not happen that again, out of compulsory, you are keeping him as an investor also. That should not happen.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm saying.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, but that's a wonderful thing, sir, that you said that not more than 50% in any case. Uh,
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, ideally. Yeah, that's true. Dr. Abhijit has asking the question like, what is the golden rule to determine MRP of my service or product? Okay.
Dr. Abhijit, you know it better. You are
Yes, you are the
uh,
owner of the company and the
just
product.
yeah, just to have to be very clear, there is no single rule. There is no
Yeah,
golden rule at all. You would not find this rule in any of the books as such. Okay, because there are so many again depending factor as such. It would depend on the what sort of service, what sort of since you are a doctor, you may have that this is there is a very unique or you can say uniqueness of in my services. Okay, so
yeah.
why not to have you can say better pricing or better you can say charge for it, right? Uh,
Yes, yes,
Again,
yes.
there are so two, three factors which I would add. Even though there is no golden rule as such, and you should not go for the bookish style, textbook style for that purpose also. Um,
Yes,
as far as your MRP is concerned, always look from your you must have the business plan with you. Please look from your expected return for the next 3 years, if not more. Okay, how much you
yeah.
would like to earn? What would be your kitty additional kitty to your pocket as such? 3 years.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then you can have a reverse planning as such. While you have reverse planning, be quite practical to decide what are the market factors which are
Yeah.
acting and counteracting on this product also.
Yes,
That
yes.
you need to be considered as such. So
Yeah,
you are co-player with others. Please remember, they are
yeah.
also fine for your I would not say competitors. I always look them as a co-players. There are co-players
Yes.
with a if not identical but similar product. There's a
Yeah, yeah,
difference between the identical product and similar product. They are similar product. Some way you have some unique features, characteristics. So having this into your crowd, so you are a member of the crowd, herd. Okay, look
yeah.
at that, what policy they are doing. At the same time, the level of acceptability of the product also.
Yes,
And
yes, yes,
one
yes.
second point, very importantly, that the MRP should not be static, which is not there. We as a consumer, we always feel, we always experience also.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you should go away with the static feature of the MRP. That's
yeah,
why again reverse planning. Okay, next 3 years, how much you would like to add? So from that point of
yes,
view, year one, what should be your acceptable, affordable MRP? Okay, for your product
yeah.
access. Take it on a gradual higher scale year on year asset. Normally, let me tell you that any rise or any change in MRP should not be abrupt. Should not be abrupt asset.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
maybe again it will vary from product to product, but motamoti I can tell you 6 to 8 months you should be able to control your prices at a stable level.
oh, yes, nice, nice, nice.
That's
Yes,
what I say.
great, sir. uh, Sir, I'd like to just ask you something very different question. No, it's not a question,
Yes.
but just to interact with
Okay.
you.
Okay.
You know, the in the Indian system, what I have seen, or Indian family, what I have seen, like taking a loan is always considered to be like, should we go for it or not, and all that. And even we have been nurtured right from our childhood that it is better not to take loan and see that if you can manage on your own and all that. What
Correct.
I particularly feel that not taking the loan is also another problem. Is the sense like suppose you take a loan and complete all the installments as laid down and all that. I think your market value is getting reflected maybe by the some CRISIL rating and all that. I think
Correct.
that should be there. Otherwise, if I don't take the loan at all, then how to establish
Good
my
one.
market value? I think
Pretty good
that
question.
is,
Pretty good question. And I'm more than open on this. And do not
yeah,
look at me as a banker. As a I can as a well wisher. I can, yeah, on and very absolutely good question. And this you may have a turmoil with a lot of people in their mind also. Turmoil, I would say,
yes,
mental turmoil. But let me be very let us have a very advanced view now. That
yeah,
and this is a concept also. When I was a young guy, okay, Even though I was banker, but I have now never availed a loan till the age of my 40.
Okay.
That was the culture, sanskar,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way sir have been saying,
Yes.
"Hey,
Yes.
arey, this is a scene, why to avail? Let's try to adjust
Yeah.
with whatever money we have. Maybe our any business, whatever money we have, small saving kitties, small kitties, let's do that business."
Yes. Yes.
Nowadays you can't afford to do this, sir. So
Yeah.
if you have a bigger wings to fly, okay, and you would
Yeah.
like to fly very high as such, this flight
Yes.
cannot be possible with your own funds. You cannot wait.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
it's just like horizon. We
Yeah.
get close to the horizon. Horizon shifts as such. Okay, so
Yes. Yes.
to fulfill all our dreams, vision, whatever perspective we have, and let me share my experience also. Close to 85 to 90% people, if not more,
Uh-huh.
they always
Okay.
resort to some amount of lending. Except that
Okay.
the percentage will vary. Somewhere we say, "Arey, I need only just bare minimum assets." So based on
Yeah.
the requirement of 100 rupees, they will only borrow 50% only, 40% only. Okay.
Okay.
Otherwise, other people they will say, "Arey, jitna deta hai, मैं लेता हूँ." Okay, they can go up to 90% also. That should not be again other extreme. But otherwise, this
Yeah.
is my experience, sir. Whatever dreams you have, what
Yeah.
aspect, this could be both for your family, for your responsibility as a family person, head of the family, as well as for business also. Other way around, let
Yes.
me tell
Yes.
you, there are good set of wealthy people, wealthy entrepreneurs we have. Okay, take a case of Reliance Group. Okay, so
Okay.
Reliance happens to be, and a matter of pride for us, happens to be one of the richest, wealthiest person in the world. So
Yeah.
do we suppose that he has not taken any loan? Of course, it has happened last year. He has done also. Okay, at some point of time, the some company from Reliance Group was debt free. That's all for some other reason. But forget about that. Other than this, the entire empire. Okay, the empire is standing proudly and maybe a role model for us. Okay, this is standing only on the more of borrowing than the
Oh,
equity.
great, 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 great.
If you
That's
look at
really,
Reliance,
really good.
even though for within our level, our you can say a position as a small modest entrepreneur also. Okay, one more point I will add, sir, that we may have a feeling also. "Arey, I have some good amount of capital, then why I
Yeah.
should go to the bank and have loan?" Okay, so I
Yes.
think
Yes.
for such set of people also, you should discard this thought. You have some capital, keep it aside. Keep this as an
Okay.
emergency fund as such. Don't put
Oh,
this
nice.
entire money for your business purpose also. I'm not looking
Yes.
from the risk perspective. Okay, because it has a mental shade also. Whenever you have more of borrowed capital, you have more sense
Yeah.
of growing into business also. The
Yes, sir.
sense of
Exactly, sir.
responsibility
Exactly.
and
Yes.
discipline
Yes.
is always more for borrowed fund. Array,
Ye-
I have borrowed, I have to pay the
Yeah.
installment interest also.
So I
That
had to work hard
discipline,
also, and that's it. Yes. Yes. Yes.
this is my
That's true.
experience,
That's
sir.
true.
More than 70, 80% they're always, and it's for good reason. You would not
Yeah.
say, "Array, we can't blame them. Array, 80% people are borrowing, taking loan." No. For good reason,
Yeah.
for you can say amicable reason, for amicable you can say amount, definitely they are borrowing. And we should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
how other bank will run, sir?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, no, but one good thing, that's what you said. Like, well, if you take the loan or borrow something, then we work hard to see that it gets paid off and all that. I think
Absolutely,
otherwise,
absolutely.
actually, that's what exactly I wish to ask you also. Like in the stage A, when I said that we can get a grant or something like this, sometimes I feel that when we get the grant, then we become lethargic. And then
Absolutely,
we
sir.
may not see that, okay, I got the grant, I will just finish it off and all that. But if you take a loan, then you
Perfect, sir.
start thinking about, oh, I take a loan, I must repay that, and then I work hard. I think that's the difference with the loan and the grant. So I don't
Perfectly
know
said.
how
Perfectly
far
said.
it is to be addressed.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. It
Yeah.
gives us another sense of belongingness, responsibility to do better also.
Yes,
Perfectly said.
yes,
Very
yes,
well
yes,
said. Very
that's
well
true.
said.
That, yeah, yeah.
Very
Sir,
good.
one question has come from the Sandeep again. Like, sir, how to calculate company valuation? He's asking company valuation.
Company valuation. Okay. If okay, good. Okay. I'll put a very simple way. Let us we will not be getting more detail. Um, Company's valuation, if it is a private limited company, If it's a private limited company, I'm assuming that it is a private limited company.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
it is calculated on the there's something called as TNW, tangible net worth. Tangible net worth is a ratio of your asset base vis-a-vis the liability. Okay, so you have a setup of asset. Okay, asset has some value also, so that would be
Yes.
weighed, reckoned against the liability as such. So assuming that you have 100 rupees of assets and say 10 rupees of liability as such, so it will net it off. One, secondly, it will also will be consider that how fast this liability can be cleared. What are the
Yes.
sources? How you are going to fund your liability? So liability should be cleared to be paid off. How you are going to fund? Is it out of your own reserves, your own investment, or maybe by liquidation of assets also? That will decide.
Yes.
Suppose you have enough investment, part of investment you are using to net off, or you can pay off the liability. That is better, not without requiring to touch base on your asset, because assets are not only they carry value but they have utility also. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
based on this, then the net value of assets could be worked out with fair market value, FMV. There is a
Yes.
concept called FMV. For getting to the fair market value, we may not be authority, so they are more competent people. They are recognized valuers, certified valuers. They will come out to the level of FMV, fair market value. So that could be a real value of your own empire asset, I would say. It is many times it is done, but it's not required many times. It is not normal,
Mhm.
it is not required as such. But at some point of time, you may be required, because a normal value, which is anyway it is there, and every year we have some assets. Okay, but we have some depreciation also. So we
Yeah.
net off the depreciation, become something called as residual value of the assets. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
book value. I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
not getting the more details, but book value is a you can say bookish value. What you
Yeah.
would be more interested to know, that if I dispose this asset, okay, what could be
Yeah.
the market value or realizable value of the asset. So
Yes.
when you look at the valuation to be done, this is done on based on the market value as such, not on the
Okay.
not on the book value as such. Okay,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so I think
Yes.
I wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I
there are
think
some
that's
specific
nice.
reason for which the valuation is done. Say for example,
Okay.
you would like to dispose of the company, or you
Yeah.
would like to go into the from private limited to public limited company. Okay, then
Okay. Okay.
valuation is a must. This is required before you go to
So,
the
is
public.
there any certified valuer that they can do
Yeah,
it
yeah, IV.
valuation for us?
They're called
Yeah.
IV. There is
Okay.
something called as Institute of Valuers. Okay,
Okay.
they are certified from that institute. So always better to go their
Okay.
certificate, which is more authentic. IV, they are called IV or
Sure.
FIV. They are Fellow of Institute of Valuers. FIV.
Okay. If I okay, nice. So I
Thank you.
think, sir, one more question from Ajay Bisal has come. Sir,
Yes.
is it advisable to have low profit margin or less MRP to capture the market share at the initial phase of the startup?
I think I have
Uh,
already replied.
and, and then increase the, I think you already replied, sir, that.
The
Then
plain answer
increase
is no.
the, oh, okay.
People are crazy to go about it, but I'm more than clear, sir. I'm more than open for this.
Yeah,
This should
that's
not
true.
go
That's
for
true.
this.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very nice. One
Good
more
question.
question from Dr. Abhijit has come. I'm already a proprietor. I'm managing to start a publication industry. Is there a financial benefit for private limited or proprietary registration?
Uh, Normally, I'm saying, going by a practical experience, depends on the extent. How much could be the volume of your business, okay, size of your
Okay.
business. If it is quite modest, you would like to grow gradually, okay, and then get into the limited company, and that is what normally happens. You can have a modest start as a proprietor, okay, and step by step you can get into or step into the limited company. But if you have bigger dreams, you may feel that no, I would like to get into some foreign market. I will have all India network of my publication. I have some better orders, or the market is calling me in a bigger way, which I would like to cater. Then in that case, better to get into limited right from the beginning. because
Okay.
private limited company has some distinct advantage. That's what we discussed in the training also. That
Yeah.
it has a very broad database.
Yeah.
Its base is broad, very, very broad, okay, which
Yeah.
speaks of the future.
Yeah.
That yes, I'm here to stay for longer period as such. So you have very broad and firm, strong foundation as such. So limited
Yes.
company will always give very strong dimension and a long-term perspective what you have been thinking of. But if you
Yeah.
are thinking of going very in a very gradual way, okay, in a modest way, sequential way, then better to have proprietorship initially, and then you can think of joining hands with others and then get from them also as equity.
Yeah. That's it. So there is a question from Dr. Dheeraj, like how to select which bank is best suited for business loan, whether nationalized, government, private bank, or any other.
Uh,
Uh,
actually, I should not answer this question more specific because I'm a banker. I don't.
yeah,
I should not give injustice to any bank. But just to
yeah,
make one point clear, to the extent possible, as far as possible, either you can choose good amount of a private sector bank or public sector bank. Uh, if possible, try to avoid cooperative bank if possible. You may have your love, your affinity
oh,
with
okay,
corporate bank also. But for certain reason, I'm
yeah, yeah,
quite open for you. Again, here, because we are here to grow our business, to become a long-term player. Yes, at the same time, you're also supposed to be a long-term player, have a very solid bonding with the bank as well. Okay, if that is the case,
yeah,
you could better build up your bondage, okay, mutually with either public sector bank or private sector bank. Well, that's what.
yeah. That's
Try to
so.
avoid it. That's what I would say. I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
naming any bank for friends.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sir, actually, we are exceeding our time. No
Issue.
issue. But
Absolute no issues.
before and there are, I think, hardly any questions also seen on the chat. But I would like to rather add one wish list, sir. For, maybe I think you are the best
Yes.
person to comment on
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yeah.
I have seen that in many developed countries, the rate of interest for the loan is very low, because their
Correct.
deposit rates are very, very low, almost 0% or whatever it is. So
Absolutely.
it's very, very
Absolutely.
low. Means I have seen some of the countries which I have visited that the rate of interest for the loan is 1.5%, sometimes 2%, and all that. I think
Correct.
that's what my wish list. Like if in India also such scenario comes, hopefully
Um,
we will not be afraid of taking loan, because see ultimately even I have also taken loan. So it's
yes.
so I know that EMI, whenever we pay the EMI in the very first years of the payment,
Agree.
I have seen that the most of the EMI goes for paying the interest
No.
only, and
Yeah.
the principal amount goes very slowly. Later on, it's okay. But then that's what my wish list. So what is your idea, sir? Can we think
Good
of such
question.
thing?
And good question. But since you raised this question, I would like to give a happy perspective also. If you look
Okay.
at the interest rate regime for the last 5 years, you must have
Yeah.
seen. Uh, Forget about the deposit rates, but looking at the liquidity, the way it is improving. Liquidity as such of
Yeah.
the country as such.
Yeah.
Looking at the economic size, whatever way, different segments as such, we are on a speed on a stage to improvise our liquidity position as such. Okay, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
thankfully which is a better position. So as I said, our foundation is becoming strong gradually as such. So that's why not only government but Reserve Bank of India as well as all banks also, they are quite okay uh, to reduce the lending rate also. You must have
Okay.
seen
So
now. Say what?
can we
Yeah.
think of the day when it will be matching with the rate of interest of a developer? If that is the case, I think more players will come
Which
into the picture, and
yes,
many
yes,
startups will be
definitely.
ready
We
to.
and we should look forward to be in the
Yeah.
wish list as well.
Yeah.
We should have you can say more reach, not only improvement in our own economy domestically, but yes, the policy is very, very clear that what way we could be reaching into the international market as such. Let me tell you for everybody that very, very best, one of the best perspective plan we have now, which will that
Yeah.
document will come out very shortly, which is called as FTP, foreign trade policy, which shows
Okay.
that as of now, our reach is up to almost 100 countries in the world, and we should feel really proud.
Yeah.
Matter of
Yeah.
pride for all of us that as of now, we have our network to close to 100 countries as such. But
Yeah.
that 100 countries, our presence is not matching with the volume as such. Okay,
Yeah.
because as of now there is no other country in the world who has a trade relationship with such a number of countries as such. So the
Okay.
perspective plan is to go up to 125 countries by
Yeah.
2025. Next 3-4 years our reach could be extended further, but it's not in terms of only physical relationship or other
Yeah. Yeah.
extended relationship. Here we would
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
to have because it's really interesting the way we have a wish list that as of
Yeah.
now our share in the world trade is close to 2%, 2 to
Yeah.
2.4% as such. And
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
must have seen the Modi ji what he's saying, our 5 trillion economy as such we have to do. There are so
Yeah.
many assumptions which are behind it, and all
Yeah.
of us domestically also we are responsible to enhance the income of our country. But other way around,
Yeah.
the way we spread it further, not only in physical terms but also to penetrate more into that market, so that our
Yes.
major income would be coming from other countries in the country, and that's happening for
Yes.
us.
Yes.
I must
Oh,
I
nice,
must
sir.
give you this news, okay? And the
Yeah.
way the
Exactly.
way more and more people are relying on us, putting their
Yeah.
trust on us. Okay, not to discuss about other countries, but yes,
Yeah.
they are turning more on the country like us as such. I think
Yes.
next 3 to 5 years, if it really happens the way the
Yeah.
policy has been framed, it's okay. So
Yeah.
this could be good addition to our wish list to happen, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
I
That's
am
a
not
very
I'm not
nice
going to
thing, sir.
mention as to where the effective rate could be, but yes, this
Yeah.
could be phenomenally down and magical also.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sir. So really very nice information, sir, and I appreciate the way you have interacted with us. I think we'll have to find out some more event wherein we can have some more
Yes, sir.
discussion later on. So now the time is almost up. So wish to express the vote of thanks. Thanks to resource person, Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni. He has accepted our invitation and he has interacted with the participant. And I'm really happy that the way he has guided all our participants, it's something amazing. And even I have seen that the questions that are raised in the chat box during the online interaction, it was also very thought provoking. And all of that has been answered very well by Kulkarni sir. I'm thankful to Professor P.M. Padore, Director VNIT, for the all help provided for conduct of this event, and also to Professor Tomre, who is our head of the department, for his constant support for such an events.
Thank you so
The
much.
all participants, they without them this event would not have taken place. So special thanks to all of them and all those who have helped directly and indirectly. Finally, I think I should say that the vote of thanks will be incomplete without the mention of untiring effort by my researchers here at VNIT, Subodh Daronde, Bhupesh Sarode, Balaji Paikrao, and staff of Networking Center for VNIT for giving the very nice, rather the link for the interaction. Uh, I should say that the all the participants, I should congratulate them because they have got the certificate also. Uh, so congratulations to all participants. So they will be
Great.
getting the certificate of ABC of Finance for the startup. And it's not the only end at this point, but now this is the beginning, and we have now got very well connected with Kantan Kulkarni sir, and we will be having many more such events later on. And we maybe once our BETIC-VNIT is ready, I wish to invite Mr. Kanchan Kulkarni to guide our prospective startup owners. So that will be wonderful. And before I rather close the our event, I wish to rather inform all the participants that there is another interesting talk which we will be organizing with the Venture Center, and this is about the 19th call or the Biotic Ignition Grant. So that is scheduled on 24th of August, time 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Pallavi Bavaskar, she will be rather informing about this particular call, and our two grantee, like Neha Lande and Sandeep Dake, they will be also speaking their experience that when they got the grant and all that. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Kanchan sir, and hope to meet you soon, maybe in another event. Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thanks.
much.
Good night.
Thank you so much.
Thank
My
you.
great
Good
pleasure
night.
to have such interaction and
Yeah,
very
yeah.
special efforts, Dr. Kuthe sir and all his colleagues, okay, and
Yeah.
students, scholars they have taken. Really, absolutely commendable. So I will
Yeah. Thank
definitely
you.
look for that. It will be my additional pleasure to get associated with you for any such events, and
Yeah.
definitely will be sharing good amount of knowledge. Is a learning for me also. All of you are,
Yeah.
you are my guru. Okay, so always
No,
I my salute and naman to Guru always. I regard you
yeah.
very much. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
definitely look
Yeah.
forward.
Sure.
At the last, I have given my some mobile number. Okay, for
Yeah.
all those who would like to get connected for anything. Sir
Oh,
has my
great,
number
sir. Great.
definitely and my
Yeah.
mail ID
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have
Even
given my
I'm.
mail number. Anything you may feel or you may stuck up somewhere, any direction you may seek for. You are always
Yeah.
welcome any point of time. That will be my pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much,
sir.
sir. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. It's really great news that you have given your mobile number also. So,
Thank you.
sir, we will remain connected. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Okay, sir.
friends.
Thank you. Good
Bye.
night. Good night. Thank you. Bye. I'll be stop recording now and ending this.